Hi, this is 365801 and this is another buddy read with Katie. So for this video we're going to be reading Tea for Two by Yaya Sakuragi. This is, as you can see, 4 volumes. It's been a long time since I read this. I think maybe 2019. I think I read it in 2019. If I go back onto my Patreon, I actually made like a series of videos, like, I don't know, it's like 3 videos where I go through every single thing that I read. It was like a massive long video, and then I just was like kept going. So there was 3 long videos, and I'm pretty sure I also documented everything that I read for 2019 on Twitter. Like literally every manga, I was like, I read this, now I read this, and I read this, which was really great because it meant that I knew exactly how many I was reading. And yeah, I'm pretty sure Tea for Two was on there. So I have read this, but it's been back in 2019, and it's definitely worth having another read of. So here it is. It's a little later in the day. So I'm just going to make dinner. Me and Katie have been chatting online, and I've been doing some other things and tidying, washing my dishes, doing my chores, and I still have a pile of books to go through. Like, I need to put them back in the shelves and take them up the stairs and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm still doing that, but I am in the middle of making my dinner. I'm going to have something nice to eat and maybe start Tea for Two. I don't know how much I'm going to get on with this. Me and Katie have talked. We're having a nice relaxing. We're going to give ourselves a full week to do this. So if I get it done within the week, that's the aim. This is, as you can see, a blue title by Yaya Sakuragi. And it is a little bit tricky to get hold of all 4 volumes. Mine are not in the best condition. You can see a bit of yellowing. But then when you think about how old they are, I mean, when's this first volume? May 2008. So what's that? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, so like 14, 15 years. It's quite an old one. So in that respect, it's a really good condition. I hadn't really thought about that. So yeah, these are all I remember that character. All I remember from this series is it's got something to do with tea and maybe like a Yankee, or I think he does martial arts because that's how he's wearing like a karate or some sort of dojo outfit. And that this character is also the older character who's best friends with the main character in Bonds of Love, Bonds of Dreams, Bonds of Love. That one. So I remember that there's like they're both in the same world. But yeah. So we're going to be reading this one. I'm going to go make my dinner now though. And continue tidying up a little bit. Before I start reading, I have now made my dinner and it is looking gorgeous. It's just another pasta carbonara with vegan parmesan. It's not vegan, obviously, it's got bacon. But I guess it's dairy free, right? Yeah. You don't count eggs as dairy. It's like milk free, I should say. And I also have this really great bread. It's like a sun-dried tomato jalapeno spicy bread. So I've got that as well. It's gonna be great. I'm so looking forward to this. I'm actually really hungry now. So yeah, looking forward to Tea for Two afterwards. I thought I should give this a wee read. I had another wee cat visitor. It was the black one with a little bit of white. The boy cat, so I think he's called Felix. And I'm like, I know I've read this, but it's like quite stiff. Anyway, we've got some nice colour artwork inside on both this. Ugh. It's hard to see and open actually. So yeah. And then I thought I would check just again when this was actually published. And there it is. 2008, but it was originally in Japanese, published in 2003. Wow, which is of course 20 years ago. Oh my god. So this is a 20-year-old BL manga. 20-year-old BL manga, guys. What? What? They are using, like, they're wearing gakuran, and gakuran is very rare nowadays. It's very, very rare. So yeah, I forgot. I have no idea who these people are. I at least remember these two because I think these are the main couple. But these guys, no idea. Cannot help at all. But yeah. T for 2. Should be good. I'll give this a wee read now. It's the Oran High School host club of it all. So he's unfortunately broken a T-bowl, and Yaya Sakuragi just couldn't help herself, could she? she had to throw that line in. Pay me back with your body, of course. Haha, of course. I don't think he actually does straight away. I'm not entirely sure if I remember correctly, but yeah, there's definitely much more of a friendliness between the two of them now. Tokumaru, which is such an old-fashioned name, and Hasune. Hasune, is that right? I know it says it on the back. Tokumaru and Hasune. Kazuma. Madoka. Is his first name Madoka? Madoka. And Kazuma? Hasune. Tokumaru. Tokumaru is such an old-fashioned last name. First name doesn't matter. It's so old-fashioned. It's the Maru of it all. Anyway, he tried to... They talked about the bowl costs in the classroom, and some bad guys came to try and steal the bowl. And they ended up taking the bowl that had the least financial value, but the greatest sentimental value. And it was Hasune's grandfather who'd gifted him this bowl that didn't cost very much, but meant a lot to him. And unfortunately, it got broken in the process. So, yes. Tokumaru has once again broke things. I don't understand this though. See, this is the problem. If his last name is Tokumaru, then his sister should be shouting Tokumaru. She would be shouting his first name, which would be Madoka. So it's things like that doesn't really sit well when it comes to translations and stuff like that. I've noticed that in a couple of modern things. I think some things that I just recently read, actually, at the start of this month. Like, when things are being translated. And even I think in the, in Secret XXX and Therapy game, I think there's a moment and you're just like, well, wouldn't he call him something else because that they both have the same last name? It's things like that need to be picked up on when they're translating. But seeing as this is a very old manga, and this may have been in the original Japanese, you never know, because sometimes that happens. Sometimes they make mistakes and it just gets translated into the English version as well. So yeah. Anyway, it's cute and it's sweet so far. So far, fingers crossed. And the art style is, I think it's pretty polished for 20-year-old manga. It's particularly style, like, it's definitely of the sharp jaw, sharp nose time period. I mean, look at that. Look at that. That, I mean, you could cut glass with it. I think she's definitely got a much softer style now, but you can still tell that this is very much Yaya Sakuragi's art style, which I like a lot. And she's put a lot of work into the other images with the details, so I'm enjoying it so far. So I've finished the first volume. It's very straightforward. There's not really much to it, except I do think that Tokumaru, what's his name again? Madoka. Madoka seems to like him. What's his name? Kazuma. I'm never going to remember them. Tokumaru and Hazune. Tokumaru seems to kind of like fall for Hazune first, although Hazune probably falls for him and is just more quiet about it. But Tokumaru's very much like, "Hey, let's have this thing," and he's like, "No," or at least not in the tea room. And but they do develop quite a strong bond, and they do end up kind of confessing their feelings and having a sexual relationship. But you don't see that. So if you like BL that kind of cuts to black in a way, and then, you know, cuts back again when they're satiated, and it's kind of how this manga is. It's not too graphic in any way. But he does end up joining the baseball club to help them out, and that's a bit of tension between the two of them. And then there's like what constitutes manliness, and I think it's quite apt that Hazune is like, what does he say? I don't show off my manliness for no reason. Isn't it best to just run and avoid unnecessary hassle? So he's kind of like what is it that what you think constitutes manliness isn't necessarily what everyone constitutes manliness, and being a man in different ways. It's actually quite nice. It's like throwing a light up against toxic masculinity. I'm like, good for you. Quite like that. But then he does end up fighting fighting off the bad guys anyway, and getting beat up to show his manliness, because he feels like he would lose him otherwise. And I think that's a nice little point where he's like, oh, like he was being stupid for thinking that they were both being jealous about different things. He gets a haircut. It's cute. They're actually kind of cute with each other. It's kind of funny because Tokumaru's like the slim, shorter one. He's not short, he's just shorter than Hazune, who's much taller and broader. But he's the sporty one. So they're at this stage when they're, you know, reconciled again. And it's just plodding along. It kind of feels like, is there any need for drama? Is there a need for a second volume? No. And then you get this extra story of Keigo. Keigo's a character that gets introduced as sort of like possible antagonist, but isn't actually. And his friend, who he's grown up with, and Mizuki. And they're the start of their relationship. Although they are childhood friends, they've been, you know, Keigo's gay, and he's always been in love with his straight friend, who seems fairly up for a sexual relationship as soon as he kind of like they have a heart to heart, and then it's like, boom, yeah, let's get it on. I'm quite happy to do that. But my favorite thing of this volume is Hasune's younger sister Kotoko and Tokumaru's younger sister Nagomi, because the two of them are great. They're great as female characters in a BL, which I do think someone did a PhD study or something on, and I really would love to read it. And it's like the representation of female characters in BL. And these are two female characters. They're both younger sisters, and they're both awesome. Like, they both do tea ceremony, they both do karate, and they both give their older brothers a hard time. I love it. And they're also like, I'm rooting for this sapphic relationship here. Yeah, 100%. This is where Yaya Sakuragi certainly could have gone. And she's stuck with the BL side of things. But this is a sapphic manga that I'd be like, did she do one? Because that would be good. Kind of reminds me of like Princess. Yeah. Like the design of the male characters as female characters could have just been female characters, especially when they're the whole gender bending aspect of uh male characters dressed as female characters being like romantically intimate. So it looks like Yuri, but it's actually Yaoi, and it's just that weirdness that I quite enjoy. This is very funny because she's like, she's looking in the mirror, moaning about how much she looks like her brother. But they both look like they are basically the female versions of the male characters, and I would definitely be up for reading their story too. That is super cute. So yeah, that's them as siblings. So siblings are great. I love sibling books. So yeah, that's volume 1 done. I'm probably gonna go to bed soon. Because it's a bit later. I was gonna make soup or bake some banana bread or something. I just feel like I kind of want something sweet, but I might just have a quick slice of toast with some marmalade instead. Just to have something sweet before I go to bed. I don't know what the time is, but it's probably near 10. I don't know. But yeah, 1 volume down. I will check in when I've read volume 2, or I'm about to anyway. So yeah. Now it is the next day. I was thinking I could maybe read volume 2 today, but I'm not sure if I can. I've got to get to work in about an hour, and I kind of wanted to make some soup first. Maybe. I also wanted to make a video, but I also wanted to make a different video, and instead I've made this video. This video is going to be a Patreon exclusive for The Bullet That Missed. It's kind of like an abandoned vlog, but it's also a bit of a Patreon exclusive reading vlog. So yeah, sometimes I put them up on my channel. I think this is number 13. It might be 14, but it's definitely 13. not definitely 13, but I have at least done 13 abandoned vlogs. So yeah, I am putting more things up on my Patreon that's just for patrons, which is good. I think I'm doing more videos for Patreon than I am for my channel, which is saying something. I'm happy about that, but still at the same time, these aren't the videos I necessarily want to be making in my plan. I'm also thinking, so the video I was wanting to make was my anniversary tag one, so we'll see. If that's up on my channel, yay! If it's not, oh well, that was another video idea that didn't pan. I tried to make one last year, it didn't work. Anywho, let's make some soup. That's what I'm going to do. I have about an hour, and I'm going to take my books back to the library, so I might not get my Tea for Two volume 2 read today. I might end up just doing that tomorrow. But we've got until Monday. I've got until Monday. This is great. So relaxed. I love doing buddy reads with Katie. We're so relaxed. So yeah, let's make some soup. So I've got my soup made, or at least it's boiling just now. I'm not just sure if it's going to end up being any good because it kind of smells a little bit suspicious. I don't know. I thought it would smell a certain way and it's not. Anywho, I got some flowers. They were reduced, so I'm quite happy to have reduced flowers when I can. They weren't too expensive. I think they were £1.50 or something like that. And I've got my video exporting as well. So I'm gonna see what I can do with these. Not too much. So let's see what I can make. There we go. I'm putting the greenery in one thing and all the flowers in another. For just now, I might rearrange them later on. But I've got a few chores to do today, so I'm going to head off to work. I'm going to take these books back to the library, and I might pop into the shops to get a couple of things. So I'll see you and check in later. So I've just got back from working. It is quite late. It's about 10, maybe just a bit after 10. And my soup's actually turned out not so bad. It is sort of supposed to be a cheese and bacon soup, which I first heard about a while ago, and I was like, that's weird. Cheese and bacon as a soup. But it's basically a potato soup. When you just add cheese and sprinkle some bacon, and if you want, you cook up the bacon and you use that bacon fat to like fry up the vegetables before you make the soup. And that's basically it. This has very limited cheese in it though. And I'm not 100% sure about the taste, but it should be alright. I'm going to see if I can get some of this Tea for Two Volume 2 read, because I kind of want to, but I am quite tired, so I might just end up eating this and then going straight to sleep, because like I said, it's a bit late. And I've got to go to the shops tomorrow, get some messages, so I might take you along with me then. But we'll see how much I can get read. Maybe a little bit tomorrow morning for breakfast. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, this is another day after that. So yesterday, instead of reading Tea for Two, which I still have not, I opened it and then I was like, I'm too tired. I am gonna be honest, and I was distracted by Lily Morton's new release, French Fancy. I'm not finished it yet. I am obsessed though. I love it. It's great. This is my breakfast. It's kind of a bit weird looking, but it is actually scrambled egg on toast and a little peach tea because I'm completely out of milk, which hasn't happened in a long time. So I really do need to go to the shops. That means I did not go to the shops yesterday. I did edit a video though instead. I edited a Patreon exclusive abandoned vlog / reading vlog, library reading vlog thing for my Patreons. So yeah, that went up. But it took a while, so I only actually put it up yesterday night when I came back from work, which was also late and tiring. And so yeah, I'm back. But I did have a wee read of French Fancy this morning, not Tea for Two. Sorry, Tea for Two. It's not like I don't want to read it. I do, but then it's just something else that I really want to read instead. And also I was thinking it's quite late on in the month, so I might just film my my book haul, which isn't very big. With these flowers because they're looking great just now, and that way it can go up on my Patreon well before the time I put up on my channel, and that'll be another video done. And I could probably do that very quickly because my haul this month is very small. It's still probably larger than it should be, so there you go. So yeah, I might just do that today. So I'm going to eat this and then film a video, and then I definitely need to go to the shops because I have no milk. So yeah, we'll see how much I get done, or Tea for Two. I have the next couple of days. I'm probably going to do it then, but I have lots of other things I need to get done as well. So yeah, breakfast first of all. So even though it rained, I went out and I popped into the shops and I went to the charity shops. I went into both of them, but I didn't find any books, so very good. I came home and I did finally finish Volume 2. I know. I really should have read this already, but it was good. There's an introduction of a couple of new characters. Go-san, who is Tokumaru's senpai from karate. And so we get the introduction of the karate studio, dojo. And we also get Shinpei, who is the character that's also in Bond of Dreams, Bond of Love. But he's a teenager in that one, and he's friends with the main character. And he's got glasses. He looks actually quite similar, just an older version. And in this volume, both of them, Hasune and Tokumaru, are both kind of having a bit of a crisis of what they're doing in their life and what's the plans for the future, and they're having to think about both themselves individually as well as a couple. And Nagomi ends up being told about the fact that they're dating, and she says that they're disgusting, which is a bit disappointing because I was hoping that she would be more supportive. But then you find out that the reason why she said that was because she said she's in shock, and also because she's like, why does it have to be you? Hasade is so gorgeous. So yeah, it was more of a jealousy thing on behalf of all womankind. But yeah, so they have a wee bonding sibling moment, and it was nice. It's a good second volume. Things seem to be kind of sorted, and then you get the little extra with the other siblings at the end, which is fun as well. It's a nice little second volume, but my stomach is rumbling. It's actually quite late in the day now. I filmed my video, my haul video, so I need to edit that, and it shouldn't take me too long because I got a wee small haul, just a wee small haul. And then I got like a Books and Lala video I can watch. And I need some food. I had some curry yesterday, so I might have whatever my leftovers are. Maybe just have a wee egg on top, something like that. Which will hopefully be delicious. So before I start volume 3, I'm gonna have something to eat. I've made a couple of like poached eggs, and I had some leftover curry and rice, and I just added some spinach and cheese to make it a little bit more tasty. So that's what I'm gonna have for my dinner, and then we'll move on to volume 3. So I got home from work, put on the TV, and the Grand Prix was just about to start. I put on a pizza, a delicious meat feast. I had that for dinner while I was watching the Grand Prix, and then finished it off with half a tub of Caramel Sutra Ben & Jerry's ice cream. It's not what I usually eat, but the Co-op had the special deal on where they had like 2 pizzas and a tub of ice cream for only £5. I'm like, that is a bargain, as long as you've got your little Co-op card. So I ended up getting that yesterday on the way home from work, and then did not read, and just was super tired and ended up going to bed early. And then I went to work again today and did the same again. So this weekend has just been work, sleep, pizza and ice cream. So I've been doing very poorly on vlogging or reading this manga. This whole week, to be honest, this whole week has been pretty poor. And I was supposed to edit my haul video, and I still haven't done that. So I'm hoping to be able to do that at some point today. Maybe I'll do it after this volume 3. It is Sunday. It's nearing the end of the day. And me and Katie were supposed to be aiming for trying to finish this series by Monday. And that was it. It feels like days ago. It was days ago when we said, yeah, let's try and finish it by Monday. I'll be lucky if I finish this by Monday. I will. I think I'll be able to do this. I have started volume 3, so I'm not too far into it though. It's not a difficult one to read. I just need to sit down and actually do it without falling asleep, because I have tried. Like yesterday I tried, but I was just too tired. So like, work isn't massively difficult. It's just exhausting being around people after not being around people. So having to socialize, guys, is hard when you're an introvert and you haven't had to be extrovert for quite some time. So yeah, I have a list of things that I'm supposed to be doing. My house needs to be tidied now. I've been a bit lazy, but I'm instead cozying up on the sofa with this. And there's been a couple of things out of here that have made me laugh already. The two of them just seem to get on quite well as a couple. Like, there's quite nice little moments. Here he's like, hey, if you want to do some working out, let's do it on the bed when you're done studying. And he's like, oh, I guess that'll have to do. But instead he's like, starts taking off his clothes. Like, he's like, after the studying. He's like, ah. It's a way to get out the studying. There's a couple of little moments that make me laugh. But generally, this is just kind of an easy-ozy manga. There's nothing really much to say about it, which is maybe why I haven't been saying anything, or haven't been like feeling the need to read it, or feeling the need to talk about it. There's nothing really to say. Um, Maybe when I'm done, or maybe when something happens. But as it is, it's very much high school, boys in a fairly healthy relationship. For I do have to say that Hasune, for being the typical overbearing semi character, uh, at times, he's actually not that overbearing compared to the semis of that time period. He actually seems like he's fairly docile and loving and not uh not the typical, and I kind of like that, maybe because he's the sporty one and he's the sort of humanities and arts one, that it kind of comes off as being much more of a relaxed and equal and balanced relationship. I actually kind of like it. They're kind of wholesome in a lot of ways. And that kind of means that I don't really have much to say. That it's nice so far, and everything's just as you would expect, plodding along. It does kind of remind me a little bit about My Love Mix Up, in the fact that, Tokumaru has got to that stage where he's third year and he's like, I don't know what I'm doing with my, future, and everyone else around me has everything planned out, and then, discovering that actually no one does, and they're just trying their best, and that's all he has to do as well. So he's now got a goal in mind, and he's working towards entrance exams for a sports college. And that seems like the most appropriate thing for him. It's like, good job. So it really does have that high school boys just trying to do their best and be in a relationship with each other and trying to do their best with that as well. It's just wholesome. It feels, and I know I don't like saying that word, wholesome, but that's kind of what it is in the lack of toxicity. I think that's how I describe wholesomeness, is that there is a distinct lack of toxicity, and there doesn't seem to be anything about this that is that toxic, considering how old it is. So yeah, I haven't really got much to say, but I've talked about it enough. So I'm going to try and finish volume 3, although I've got a cat on my windowsill now and she's meowing at me. You probably can't hear her, but I might open the blind so I can look at her. She's staring directly at me right now. She's wanting some ham. I'm saying no, no. Anyway, I'm going to finish volume 3 and I'll check in when I finished, maybe do some editing. Maybe. So I finished volume 3 and not much happened. Like I said, it's just a very like low angst. Nothing happens. Honestly, nothing happens. This is just high school kids do what high school kids do. I guess the big thing was that Tokumaru went on a karate camp, and Shinpei and him had a wee heart to heart, and Shinpei said how much he wanted to, emulate him and be like him, and said thank you, and it made Tokumaru feel good about being a role model, and maybe he wants to become a karate dojo teacher, and now he's got some kind of goal in life. Isn't that great? And that was about it. Not much happened, and then there was this story at the end with the other couple, which isn't really all that interesting either, because nothing happened in that one either. So T for 2 is it's not bad. It's really quite sweet and lovely. And yeah, it's just them getting on with their lives. There's not even that many like comedic moments or anything. It's just them just, trying to get on, and I guess I'll move on to volume 4. I really do feel like I should do some editing and get some other stuff done. And also I did pet the cat. The cat I did let in and have a wee, and she's just super cute and so soft, and she's meow 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 to me, and then now my nose is a bit runny. I'm like, stop touching cats when I'm most likely allergic. I'm not fully allergic, I don't think, because it didn't come up as being a full allergy. But um, you know, if every time you pet a cat, you end up having a runny nose and sneezing and your eyes feel a bit itchy, it's kind of like a duh. Stop touching cats. Because I got to pet a couple of dogs today and they were super cute and I didn't feel anything after that. It is really kind of funny how like dogs seem fine, cats not so much. And yet cats, I'm like the cat lady in the neighborhood now because I pet them even though I'm not supposed to. And I should have washed my hands afterwards. My bad. I didn't. I don't think I did. No, I didn't. I should have washed my hands afterwards. That's the thing. Learn from your mistakes. So yeah, I think I need a cup of tea or something. I think maybe some peach tea, something that's just like watery and nice. Because I'm actually feeling really tired. I don't know what it is. Work, socializing, people. So I might just have a cup of tea and read the fourth book and try to stay awake so that I don't fall asleep and just get this done. It's gonna be a really boring vlog, guys. I'm so sorry. And also, I think Tea for Two is not that exciting either. It's not like it's bad. I really like it. It's nice. It's sweet. It's lovely. It's so lacking in any toxicity. I just don't feel like it's hugely compelling enough to make me like I must read this right now. All this week. So yeah, in terms of getting it done, I'm really if I'm honest, when Katie said, let's try and aim for getting it done by Monday, I was like, I'll definitely have it done by then. For shame, for shame. Useless. But yeah, like if I get it done today, then it will be done by Monday. So yeah, fingers crossed I don't fall asleep. Let's go on to volume 4. So I just started volume 4. This one comes with a lovely color insert page, which is different from the other ones. I quite like it. And they're talking about Christmas, and Hasane has got talking about a present. And when I turned the page, I just looked and was like, oh my god, that is the most hideous ring I've ever seen in my life. I was like, it's so of its time, but then Hasane is also saying it's totally unsexy and clunky, and so it's just like, oh good. He's also like so unrefined, unsophisticated, just a pretty. I mean, sure, if it fits the personality of the person you give it to, but as soon as I saw it, I was like, nope. I don't actually wear jewelry, as you could probably tell, because I don't have anything on. I have a tendency to lose things, so I don't. I very rarely even wear watches. I need to get a new one. I like wearing certain kinds of things, so I've had a few watches and they've been all right, but I kind of need to get a new watch. Just something cheap. Like one I had was like a G-Shock when G-Shocks were cool, and I got it and it was like a clear and white one, and of course it just got really gross and yellowed. So not good, but I loved it. It was great because it was a G-Shock and it was cool. But yeah, this is hideous. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of feel like it should be worn by someone in a medieval fantasy setting rather than, high school kids and getting ready to take their exams. So I got to the end of Tea for Two by Yaya Sakuragi, and at the end her note says that she did the first story back in 2001. So that's 22 years old. 22 years old. And for it being like a 22-year-old story, this one, she wrote the end note in 2006, but it was published in 2010. It's not that toxic, but there is, of course, I couldn't get to the end of volume 4 without a bit of toxicity. This guy here, what's his name? Kaga? Very gross. Ew. So he is an ex-boyfriend of Hasane's. And look, Hasane's still there. He might be a third year in high school, senior high school, wearing his uniform. But he's still, a high school student. And there's a grown-ass man who looks quite a bit older. I mean, we never know how old he is exactly, but he's obviously a bit older than him. And it turns out that they used to date, but he dated him when he was around 14 or something. Maybe it was very much like left up to some degree of imagination, but they showed a picture of what he looked like when he was 14, and then it turns out that he dumped him because he grew older, so he only likes going out with boys. Ew, gross. So there's the element of toxicity there, and that's just a big no-no for me. Like, I don't like it in my stories, and I don't like it in real life. Like when I was at school, some of my school friends dated men who were a lot older than them, and I was like, guys, do you not think this is wrong? Like, why are you going out with this guy? He's got a car. Like, that was the reason. That was the reason. Seriously, I was like, ew. He's like double your age. That's gross. I feel good that when I was that age, I had the kind of mentality that was, kind of open to the fact that maybe there was a power dynamic difference and that was inappropriate. Because, like if someone's in high school and they're dating someone who's not in high school, but they're in their first year of university, then there's like maybe a few months of a difference in their age, It's not like a huge thing. But if you are in high school and you're dating someone who's a grown-ass adult, then there's definitely something wrong. I think that's what I really disliked about Blue Sky Feeling, the 3-volume series by Okura, and I'm trying to remember the name of the artist. Because there was a high school boy who used to date someone who was in their, mid-20s, and it's like, no, that's not appropriate. Stop it. Because there's a power dynamic there. There's an emotional maturity difference, and it just doesn't sit well with me. If you're okay with that, all right then. But for me, I just don't like it. I just don't like it in my stories, and I certainly didn't like it in real life. When I was telling my friends, you should dump that grown-ass man's ass because it's weird and not in a good way. Nope, big nope. Anyway, we ended up with another little story of the sisters, and they're super cute together. And she said she really enjoyed drawing girls as much as she did, and she didn't think she'd ever get the chance to draw as many girls in a BL manga as she had done in this one. And that is true. You very rarely get as much girls' stories. And the fact is, these two have their own little story going on that really doesn't have anything to do with the brothers. They just have their own little story, and I liked that. It was enjoyable. We also got the ending of the kind of side characters, and I don't really feel like they did anything. There was no real point to their stories. At least with the girls, there was like a reason behind it. There was progression. There was, it was comedy as well. When it came to the story of this volume, there was a little bit more of Shunpei, and I really do feel like he deserves his own story, and I wonder if Yaya Sakuragi ever got around to it. Like, she obviously wrote Hide and Seek and Bond of Dreams, Bond of Love. Is that what it's called? Bond of Dreams, Bond of Love? Maybe. Whatever it was. Shunpei's in that. And so that's all part of the T for Two world. But Shunpei's like a senior in high school at that point, whereas in this one, he is in his final year of elementary school. So we know the timeline. This happens, and then like 5 or 6 years later, Bond of Dreams, first volume, and then like a year or so later, Hide and Seek, and Hide and Seek's a great volume. And I'm wondering how old the characters of Hide and Seek are compared to Hasune and Tokumaru. Like, I wonder in terms of age difference, because I'm trying to remember how much of the difference is between the two main characters in Bond of Dreams, because there's not that much of a difference between them. Is there 10 years? I'm not sure. I'd have to read it again. And I'm not averse to reading it again because I do like Yaya Sakuragi's art style. And like I said, when it comes to these two as main characters, they're lacking in toxicity to a certain degree. I do think it was quite good because they did have a little bit of exploration as to why are they going out? What happened? How did that happen? How did they end up being a couple? And why did they choose each other? What was it? And Hasane didn't really want to discuss it because he was thinking they were discussing something else. Whereas Tokumaru is very forthright and just, he says what he's thinking. He doesn't always think before he says it, but he just says what he's thinking. There's no hidden meaning behind it. He is just exactly what he's thinking. That's what he says. And Hasane wasn't really wanting to have the discussions that he thought he was having, whereas Tokumaru's was literally just asking him, like, what is it about me that you like? And I think that's a perfectly valid question, especially if earlier when Go-san, the other character, had said, you know, how come you guys got together? Like, how come you didn't just become friends? You know, because you weren't gay or bisexual before, but then you met him and now you're in a relationship. So what was it about him or about your interactions that made you have a romantic and or sexual relationship? What was it, the impetus? And I think that's a very valid question. So this was a little bit more of an interesting volume, but I do want Shunpei to have his own story, and I'm wondering if Yaya Sakuragi ever actually did that, and we just don't have it in English. Because I would appreciate that, thank you very much. This is a character that's turned up in 2 4-volume series and yet doesn't have his own spin-off. That's almost unheard of in BL. I think we need to start a campaign. I need to go on Baka Manga updates just to check. I think one of my favourite scenes, this is it, is this one page. Here we have the dojo karate dojo tutor, and he's just remembering the two of them when they were young, and he's comparing them to horses. And I just think this is the cutest little drawings of horses and their siblings. Oh, so yeah, Nao-san, that's his name. He's the one that runs the karate dojo, and he's always wearing these crazy jumpers with the kanji on that usually has some sort of miku or sake kanji on. But for me, I'm like, why is he on his own? Because he can get it. He can get it. I'm just saying, out of all of the characters in this, I know I'm an old lady when I'm like, yeah, that grown ass man who's good with kids, has his own business, just enjoys food and relaxing, has a sense of humor. Nice. He's a hottie. Yeah, I'm the old lady here. I'm like, yeah, he can get it. So yeah, definitely my tastes have shifted. But yeah, this was good. I enjoyed it. I probably should have shown more, but honestly, guys, this has been a really weird week, and this has taken me a long time. This is several days worth of me trying to read Tea for Two. Not for any other reason than I've just been tired, and probably hormonal. I think that's what it is, and slightly more exhausted due to working this new job. which means I'll probably be putting out fewer videos on the channel. Hopefully not too fewer, but it is what it is. Anyway, I've enjoyed finally getting these two done. I have read, I think I've got volume 1 up at the table, so I'm not going to get it. So there you go. Tea for Two. If you haven't already, I do suggest getting them if you can. They are the blue ones, so they are out of print. And I don't think they're too difficult to get hold of. Just depends where you are. So I wouldn't pay too much for them, but then it is Yaya Sakuragi, and so I think it just depends. Sometimes you can just get lucky and someone's selling them, and I don't even remember. You can see mine are quite yellowed, but I still think they're in pretty good nick. So when I would open them up, they're like pretty good. I think whenever I've been reading them, I haven't bent them over too much. This one's a little bit, but not too bad. So they all still feel in pretty good condition, which is nice considering they are, you know, what's that, 13? Volume 4 is 13 years old, so they're all, and I think, what was it, Volume 1, 2009? This one as well. So they're all quite old, but still in pretty good nick. Yeah, 2008, so yeah, 2007, 2006, that kind of age. So they are quite old ones, but if you can get them in good condition, why not invest and give Yaya Sakuragi a wee read. I am so happy to have everything, I think, fingers crossed, that Yaya Sakuragi has had printed in English now in my collection. It was a big deal for me to get Hey Sensei, and it was a big deal for me to get Stay Close to Me. I think that was the other one. So yeah, Yaya Sakuragi. I should just do a review of all of her works. But now you've watched this video, you know at least about Tea for Two. So yeah, hopefully you can get a copy if you don't have one. And if you have, I'd love to know what your thoughts are of Tea for Two. Do you think it is a fairly non-toxic? It feels like a fairly non-toxic relationship between these two. I felt anyway, compared to the time period in which it was being produced. And if we think about some of the things that were being produced at that time, like Don't Be Cruel, Tyrant, Finder. I mean, it seems very lacking. He's supposed to be, you know, the overbearing semi, but he's not that overbearing. He's kind of anxiety ridden, and, you know, he's not athletic in any way. So, like, he's like a gentle guy most of the time. He makes tea. So it's kind of like, it's kind of off-brand. It's not quite the same as everything else, and I like that about it. So yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts about Tea for Two as well, down in the comments below. I'm 365801, and I make videos about male romance, BL, manga, yaoi, and all that good stuff. I hope Katie enjoyed it, if she got it done before she's going off to have some fun, and I hope she has fun when she goes off to have her fun. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video, I guess, whenever that may be. Take care. Bye.